We are joined now by Kat Timpf, who's got a brand new book out. And producer Allie has already read it and said it was fantastic. And I said this earlier in the show, but my mother-in-law has been visiting us. I had the book sent to me by her publisher sitting on a table here in our living room. My mother-in-law picked it up. She started reading it, and she took it home with her yesterday, Kat, because she is enjoying it. So, boom, there you go. You've got 2 satisfied customers in the audience that we know of already.
Okay, I love that. I also glad to help you out with your mother-in-law.
Well, I need all the help actually, you've been married for a little while. I'm curious what your in-laws think about you. My mother-in-law used to hate me. Now I think she likes me more than she likes her actual daughter, which has produced tension for my wife because, I mean, let's be honest, when your own mother-in-law likes you more than she likes her daughter, it's just a sign of how much I've risen.
Oh, that would create some massive tension and for me. I mean, my mother-in-law actually knew who I was. She'd been following me for years.
That's interesting. So
yes,
did she
but my
like
husband
you
didn't.
because you had a
Yes,
public profile? Okay, that's good.
she did, which is, that could have gone one of 2 ways.
Oh, no doubt.
So I got definitely very, very lucky. But yeah, the book is
that's
actually
like
out
I was going to say my
September 10th.
in-law, my mom was out at the dog park recently and was talking about what her son did, and the guy was a listener but didn't know what I did, and he said nice things about us, but he didn't know what I did yet. And I was like, Mom, that was lucky for you because he could have been like, man, you know who I really hate in media is that Clay Travis guy. So
Yeah.
it's interesting because you have all sorts of people who have opinions when you're in media. They don't know you one-on-one. And they could hate you, and then they meet you, and they're like, oh, I really like this person, right? That's kind of the world we live in now.
Yeah, and that's kind of what the book's about, right? It's about how people will take some single opinion of someone's or just even an assumption about somebody. I get it for sure. Like, oh, you work at Fox News, therefore this must mean this is true, this is true, this is true, this is true, this is true. And it's just not accurate. And we have these wrong assumptions about each other all the time. And we're really losing out on a lot, I think. I mean, meaningful relationships, but also kind of opportunities to collaborate with each other. And, the people in power over us, and the government and politicians, it works out great for them because the more divided we are, the more easy it is for them to gain power and control.
No doubt. And by the way, you live in New York City, and you work for Fox News. So you probably get that incongruous nature, as our producer Allie does, of being a woman who I presume doesn't think Trump is the worst human being who's ever lived, and you're young and you're out and about, but you probably find that you like a lot of the people in New York who might think that your political opinions are dastardly and vice versa, right? Like you can still get along.
Yes, and what's interesting about me is for some people, I mean, I work at Fox. I don't think Trump is the worst human in the world. I'm not also a Trump person. I mean, I'm an independent. It's not. I'm not a Republican, right? But that can be enough to just not think that he is the worst thing ever and would destroy life as we know it. We'd all be living in bunkers if he were to be elected. Not believing that will cause some people to write you off. That's enough right there. Yeah. Or simply working at Fox, regardless of what you actually are saying on the platform or what you're doing in the building. It's truly insane. People have asked me, what do you do? And I was like, oh, no, thank you. Like, I don't want to get into it. But, because then you've ruined my time at the party. I can no longer have fun at the party. I need to, I'm being interrogated about where I work, which is a place that I've worked for over 9 years now. And I've had a wonderful experience at Fox. And it's a place that you've never even been. And you think that you somehow know more about it than I do.
We're talking to Kat Timpf. I'm curious for you, what is the difference between being on television daily and writing a book from a media perspective, and which do you find that you enjoy more?
I honestly think I am a better writer than anything else. I started out as a writer. I got on TV because I was a writer. I love writing, and I'm very proud of this book. I think it's even better than the last book. And this is almost like the scary part when I get to talk about it because it's like, am I doing it right? You know what I mean? I want people to read this book. So the writing is honestly my favorite part, probably.
I'm with you because I came into radio and TV through writing. Mm-hmm. And to me, there is nothing better than sitting down in front of a blank screen and having complete control. Whereas everything else, whether it's radio or TV, there are a lot of other moving parts and there's aspects that you don't have any control over. I love writing because I'm ultimately responsible for every single word and I want that responsibility. Does that make sense? I don't know if you feel the same way, but if I had to give up everything else and I could, one of the challenges is you typically don't make as much money as you can writing as you can from
Right.
radio and TV, but it's my favorite of the three.
Yeah, it absolutely is my favorite of the three. Although it's a little harder for me now because I'm pregnant and I can't have any nicotine gum. But I still would say writing.
What does your baby do?
February. So I'm
Do you know
very
boy,
excited.
girl yet?
I don't. So I'm not going to find out. My doctor knows, but I want to be surprised.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what has surprised you? So you're going to be due in February. I've got 3
Mhm.
kids. Obviously, I'm not a Democrat, so I didn't claim to carry them.
Mhm.
What has surprised you the most about being pregnant so far?
So honestly, I thought that I would be more anxious, and I am terrified. Don't get me wrong; I'm very nervous, but also just in general, I am too tired to be as anxious as I thought I would be. Also, just I mean, the amount of things that change, it's really hard. I've always heard it was hard to be pregnant, and I was always like, oh, that looks so hard, but it's your body. Just my body doesn't belong to me anymore. Like there's certain medication I can't take that I would need. My skin is a mess, all this other stuff. But I'm not even considering for a second, oh, maybe I could take this medication. The baby is the most important thing in the world to me, and I've not even met the baby yet. So it's kind
No.
of crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy to get to go and see the baby as it's
Yes.
developing, and I got to do it 3 times. By the way, the book, I should say this, is I Used to Like You Until, How
Yes.
Binary Thinking Divides Us. Eh, Also, in addition to being pregnant, you are on television daily.
Yes.
What's it like to be a public figure who is pregnant on television, and how do people respond in general to you as you go through that?
It has been very weird. I started showing actually a little bit early, and I really had to do the show sucking in, and I was kind of hiding it and wearing certain things, but some people could tell. Some people were kind of tweeting and saying, "Is Kat pregnant or is she just getting fat?" Stuff like that. Like, oh, like
Right.
okay, cool. Kind of both, but okay. So I eventually said something, and I'm somebody who had gotten guff from people for a while for not having kids, like it's selfish and have kids, whatever, blah 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 blah. And then now I'm pregnant, and then there's some people will be like, why don't you just shut up about being pregnant? And it's like, you're never going to please everybody. It's weird to do anything in the public eye. This is weird to do in the public eye. But for me, it's one of those things where it's like life is so monotonous, and it can be sad, and it can be boring. I am I know that I'm not the first person ever to be pregnant, but this is the first time I've ever been pregnant, and I'm having this experience of wonderment and joy and a renewed lease on life. So it's like, can you let me have that, guys? I
You
mean,
went
I
to
don't know.
you went to Hillsdale College, which is a big advertiser on this program.
Mhm.
Um, I'm curious, what's your fan? And I saw you when you made the announcement. I think you were in the Detroit Tigers shirt, which is probably
Yes.
I think I tweeted the biggest win that somebody in a Detroit
Yes, you
Tigers
did.
shirt has had for a long time. What was
Sadly true.
Hillsdale like for you? And what's the family reaction like in Michigan to the idea of you being a mom?
Yeah, Hillsdale was a great experience for me. I mean, I had a full tuition scholarship there, which is a major reason why I went. But I think I'm a better writer because of Hillsdale, because I had the actual attention from professors who saw me as a human being, not just a number. I had to sit down and work with them, and even having to take a Constitution class. Like, I'm shocked how little people know about the Constitution,
Yeah,
just the average person. And my family's thrilled. So this is my dad's. This is the first grandkid. So everybody's
that's
very,
awesome.
very excited, and I am very excited.
So you are willing to change your mind as data is presented to you. I think we
Yeah.
have that in common. I had
Mhm.
Nate Silver on earlier, and Nate Silver is a data and analytics guy. What do you think the world would look like if more people were willing to change their opinions based on data? How much better would it be? Would it be what do you think the world would look like? Because Nate said he thinks about 5% of the population, maybe 10%, is actually willing to re-examine their prior opinions based on new data. Um, how many people do you think are, and what would the world look like if more were willing to do it?
I think most people don't even want to expose themselves to data that might make them rethink things. I think the world would be a lot better, but there would also need to be something else that was required, which would be for you to be allowed to change your mind. Because I think these days, people kind of put you in a box and you kind of stay there. Or if you make a single mistake, then that mistake defines you. You're not allowed to kind of grow and change. I mean, you got people getting in trouble for things they said when they were teenagers, and they're getting in trouble for it like 10, 15 years later. I mean, I don't know about you. When I was a teenager, I was an idiot. I think we all were, right? So I think
Yes.
that would be something that would be required as well. Because I think a lot of people aren't motivated to want to change their minds, because if they do, it doesn't even matter anyway.
The book is I Used to Like You Until How Binary Thinking Divides Us. Kat Timpf, you're on Gutfeld pretty much every night, a ton.
Yes.
What do you think people would be surprised about to know about the Gutfeld show, which now is the most watched late night television show, more than Kimmel, more than I can't even keep up with all of them, more than Jimmy Fallon, more than whoever the late night guys are on Stephen Colbert. What do you think people will be surprised about the show? What has surprised you about doing daily television on a successful show like that?
I mean, I would say probably just how kind of relaxed and comfortable it is, and how much we all really do get along. I don't know if that would surprise people or not, but I really feel so comfortable on the show to express whatever it is I want to say. And even if it's obviously different sometimes from what Greg thinks, I think I'm really, really lucky to have that. I think there's a lot of people in media who do work places or have, in environments where they feel like they can't say what they really think, or they're even outright told, hey, I know you might think this, but you can't say it. I've never been told that once. I know some people think that I have a script or writers, which I also don't have. So it's really, but
I think
it's
that's
awesome.
important too.
Yeah.
Because I do Fox News and I've done Gutfeld with you and done Fox News over time. Nobody, obviously, I think people understand, tells me anything I can or can't say on radio. They never have. But I've never experienced anybody at Fox News telling me, hey, you can't say this. And I think that's super important. I think it comes
Yeah.
through on your show. But you said you've been at Fox News for 9 years. I imagine that freedom has been there for you throughout, too.
It has. I've never wanted to say something, but then told that I can't say it from Fox. So I think that is something I'm very, 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 I don't take that for granted at all.
Kat, you're a best-selling author. Congratulations on the upcoming baby in February. Thanks for making the time with us today. Encourage people to go check out the brand new book, I Used to Like You Until. Have fun on the tour.
Thank you.
She's Kat Timpf, best-selling author. Gutfeld, you'll see her probably later tonight, certainly in the days and weeks ahead. And producer Allie says it's a fabulous book and you should go read it. And she says it's going to be really well received by many of you. So there you go. Perfect endorsement. And Kat is having a baby. And many of you may be out there about to have kids or grandkids. And maybe that means you're going to need a little bit more energy. Because let me tell you, I had 3 boys. And there's a lot of chasing them around involved. I'm going to be at a football game later tonight. And I'm going to be at a soccer match, and we're traveling this weekend. And it's just a zoo every day if you have young kids. And if you're a grandfather or grandmother, maybe you're out there trying to chase around your kids. A little bit extra energy in your life can make a big difference. That's what chalk does. CHOQ, especially for men, testosterone is the engine that drives our power. I don't know how many of you saw this. You guys know I hate to brag or draw attention to myself, but a lot of you out there didn't believe that I could bench press 185 pounds 10 times. This morning, I went to the gym, got down on the bench, rocked out 185 pounds 10 times. I weigh 185. I'm 45 years old. I want to be able to bench press my weight 10 times. Chalk can help with that. It's all natural. Testosterone will go up 20% over 3 months. Why not try it out? CHOQ.com. Use my name, Clay, for the best possible subscription value for life. You can also call them if you would rather talk to somebody, and that can make a big difference because they are all American in their answering, and they can answer questions for you. Man, woman, they can get you all natural supplements to be able to give you a little bit more energy. Phone number there, 50-CHALK-3000. Tell them Clay sent you, and you'll get the best deal on their subscriptions for life. That is CHOQ.com. My name, Clay, 50-CHALK-3000.